Hey guys, today we're going to talk about solving two-step equations. So last week we talked about one step. This week we're going to talk about two-step. When we're talking about two-step equations, we're still going to follow those same basic rules that we talked about for our one step. So we're still going to complete the opposite operation. So if we have addition, we're going to subtract. And if we have subtraction, we're going to add. If we have to multiply, then we're going to divide. And if we're going to divide, then we're going to multiply. So we're still going to follow those same steps as before. Generally, the rule of thumb is to save the variable for last. Generally, we're going to do all the other items first, and then we're going to save our variable for last, which means that generally we are going to add or subtract, then multiply or divide. Now we do need to make sure that we combine all like terms first. So I'm going to put in here combine like terms first. And then we got to combine like terms using adding and subtracting from both sides and multiplying and dividing. So when we're looking at this, saving the variable for last. There are going to be two options that this saving the variable for last does not work, and we are going to go over those, just not this week. So there are going to be two times not to follow this rule. But everything this week is going to be adding and subtracting before you multiply and divide. So this week we're not going to worry about those two different ones. So let's look at some examples. So a two-step, 2x plus 7 equals 27. So here's my example, and I'm going to try to solve it. So like I said, I want to save whatever is with the variable for last. So I'm going to save this 2x for last. So the first thing I need to get rid of is my 7. It is a plus 7. The opposite of plus 7 is minus 7. So I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. Cancels out here because 7 minus 7 makes 0, so it cancels out. 27 minus 7 makes 20. Bringing everything else down equals, and then my 2x. So I'm left with 2x equals 20. Now I got to get my x by itself. My goal is to get my variable by itself. 2x means 2 times x, so multiplication, opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. Cancels out. 2 divided by 2 makes 1. Cancels out. So now I'm left with x equals 20 divided by 2 makes 10. If I were to plug this in, I would get 2 times 10 plus 7. 2 times 10 is 20, plus 7 equals 27, which is why this works. Look at my next one. If I give you negative 3x minus 7 equals 14, saving my variable for last. So I have a minus 7. Opposite of minus 7 is plus 7. So negative 7, because I don't say minus 7, so negative 7 plus 7 cancels each other out, so I'm going to add 7 here. 14 plus 7 makes 21. Bring everything else down. I have multiplication again, so opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3, because I'm going to bring the whole thing like it is. 21 divided by negative 3 makes negative 7. Bring down my x equals. Okay. Let's look at another example. So if I give you x over 3 plus 8 equals 10. So I'm going to save my variable for last. So I have plus 8. Opposite of plus 8 is minus 8. cancels out. 10 minus 8 is 2. Bring down my equals, bring down x over 3. That line right here means division. Opposite of division is multiplication. So I'm going to multiply by 3 on both sides. When I look at this, they cancel each other out. Multiply by 3 here. So I get x equals 2 times 3 makes 6. So, main thing that you need to make sure you remember is to save your variable for last. Make sure you add or subtract before you multiply or divide. And then double check. You can always double check these. You can always plug in which answer you got and see if it makes the answer at the end. Let's look at one more. Let's take 7 plus 2x minus 3 gives me, we'll say 24. Okay? So, I got a lot of different things here. This is what I've said, combine like terms first. I can put some stuff together. I can put my 7 minus 3 together. Yes, I could just say minus 7 and then plus 3, but I can combine them before I do that. So 7 minus 3 gives me 4. Bring everything else down. 2x equals 24. Now, I want to once again save my variable for last. So I have a positive 4 because there's nothing in front of it, so I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. 20 minus 4 makes 20. And now I have multiplication. Opposite multiplication is division. X equals 10. Hopefully this helps you. Make sure you follow those simple rules of making sure that the opposite of addition, subtraction. Opposite of multiply is divide. Divide, multiply, subtract, add. You want to save your variable for last. In each one of these instances, everything we did at the end was we did everything and then we took care of what was beside our variable. Next week we're going to talk about those 2 times you don't do that. However, we will work through those. You're generally going to add or subtract and then multiply or divide. Try to combine as many like terms that you can, like we did with this last example first, to try to help condense what we have to bring over. You always want to do the same thing to both sides of the equal sign, so if you add 4, you add 4 to the other side. You never want to do anything to one side and not the other. Hopefully this helps. I'll see you next time.